Okay, so when you hear the word power, I bet you think of like money or
Hmm.
status,
Hmm.
right? Maybe even a bit of control.
Yeah, those are the usual suspects.
Definitely. But we're going to challenge those ideas in this deep dive
Okay.
using Thich Nhat Hanh's book, The Art of Power. And Thich Nhat Hanh, he's not, your typical self-help guru.
Right.
This guy was a Buddhist monk, ain't he? A peace activist.
Yeah, pretty unique perspective.
Totally. He lived through the Vietnam War, was even nominated for a Nobel Peace Prize by Martin Luther King Jr.
Wow, that's saying something. So we're talking real wisdom here.
Exactly. And he kicks off the book with this idea that power equals happiness. More money, more influence, more stuff equals more happiness. But then he tells this story about a billionaire CEO at one of his retreats.
Interesting.
This guy's like at the top of his game, super successful,
Yeah.
but totally miserable.
It's funny, isn't it? We think those things will make us happy, but
Yeah.
clearly something's missing.
So this billionaire, even with all his external success, he was missing something.
He was missing internal power, the power to be happy right now, regardless of your circumstances.
Not being controlled by fear or anger or all that stuff.
Exactly. And that's where the 5 powers he talks about come in.
Ah, yes. The 5 powers. But can we back up for a sec?
Yeah.
What about all those things most people crave? Like wealth, fame, always chasing pleasure, good food, tons of sleep.
Ah, yes, those are the 5 cravings, as Thich Nhat Hanh calls them.
Oh, the cravings versus the powers.
Exactly. And they're very different paths.
Okay, so break down these 5 powers. What are they, and how do they actually lead to happiness?
All right, so the first one is faith, but not, religious faith. It's more about trusting in yourself, your own goodness, your potential.
Believing in yourself, not needing validation from outside.
Exactly. The second is diligence. But there's a twist. It's not just working hard, it's skillful effort.
Skillful effort. What does that even mean?
It means your effort is actually moving you in the right direction. In the book, he gives the example of Frederick, this executive who works all the time.
Oh, I know the type.
Right. Stressed, never present for his family. And then there's Claudia, his wife.
Okay.
She's incredibly diligent, supporting him, taking care of everything.
Well, they're both working hard.
They are, but they're both miserable. Their efforts are not skillful. They're focused on the wrong thing.
So even though they're super diligent, they're missing out on something essential.
They're missing inner peace,
Hmm.
the kind of happiness that no amount of external achievement can bring.
Wow. Okay. So diligence, yes, but make sure it's directed at the right things.
Wow.
Got it. What are the other 3 powers?
Okay, so the foundation of all the powers is mindfulness, being present in this moment without judgment. From mindfulness, we develop concentration.
The ability to like focus your attention.
Exactly. And from concentration, we develop insight, seeing deeply into the nature of reality.
And I love how they build on each other. You can't really concentrate if your mind's all over the place.
Yeah, you got it. And you can't gain insight without focused attention.
Precisely. It all starts with mindfulness, which is why he talks about practices like mindful breathing,
Oh, yeah, I've heard of that.
mindful walking, even mindful eating.
Bringing awareness to everyday stuff. Sounds good in theory, but how do you actually do this in real life? Like, can I really be mindful in the middle of a crazy workday?
That's a great question, and he actually addresses that directly.
Hmm.
He says a mindful workplace starts with a mindful home.
That makes sense. It's tough to focus at work when things are chaotic at home.
Right, if you're bringing all that stress and anxiety from your personal life into work, it's going to affect you.
Okay, so actionable steps here. What can we do?
Start with simple practices. He gives this great example in the book. Pouring tea mindfully.
Pouring tea.
Yeah, it sounds simple, but it illustrates the power of single tasking.
Yeah.
Most of us are constantly
Oh,
multitasking.
tell me about it. Emails during meetings, scrolling social media when I should be working.
It's exhausting,
Yeah.
and it scatters your energy, prevents you from focusing, which, thinking back to the powers, blocks diligence and concentration.
Exactly. He even suggests something more radical. Creating a non-business day with your colleagues.
A non-business day, what's that?
A day where you disconnect from work completely, go for a walk in nature, go on a retreat, or just have a mindful lunch together.
I love that idea. But realistically, most workplaces would say, we're too busy, we can't afford a day off.
I hear you. But he argues that investing in your well-being this way actually makes you more productive in the long run. You come back refreshed with more clarity.
Interesting. There's one quote from the book that really struck me. The bottom line is actually love. What does that even mean, especially in the context of work and power?
That's a powerful statement, right? It challenges that profit above all else mentality we often see.
For sure. So he's saying we should all quit our jobs and become, like, idealists.
Not necessarily. He's saying we need to consider love as the foundation for our actions.
Okay, that sounds beautiful, but also kind of unrealistic. How do you apply love in a board meeting, for example?
Well, he tells the story about a soldier in Vietnam who followed orders, did his job,
Right.
but there was no love in his actions. He was causing harm, and it led to a lot of inner turmoil.
Tough situation. But does that mean we can't be successful and compassionate?
Not at all. He contrasts the soldier story with the story of Yvon Chouinard, the founder of Patagonia.
Oh, yeah, Patagonia.
Hmm.
They're known for their ethical practices.
Exactly. Chouinard built his company on love and ethical principles, and it's super successful.
So it is possible to be both profitable and ethical.
Precisely. Thich Nhat Hanh emphasizes that love isn't just a feeling, it's a practice. It has 4 elements: loving kindness, compassion, joy, and non-discrimination.
Okay, break those down for me. What do they look like in action?
Loving kindness is wishing happiness for yourself and others.
Makes sense.
Compassion is about relieving suffering. Joy is celebrating the good.
Oh.
And non-discrimination is recognizing that we're all interconnected, extending our love to everyone.
Powerful stuff. But how do you bring those principles into a work environment that's often so cutthroat and competitive?
And that's where mindfulness comes in. When we're truly present, not caught up in our anxieties and cravings, we see things more clearly. We can make choices that align with those principles.
So mindfulness is like the key that unlocks all these other powers.
Yes. And he compares chasing those cravings to a dog gnawing on a bare bone. There's no real satisfaction there. But when we're present, we see through that illusion.
I love that analogy. We chase these things thinking they'll bring us happiness, but they never quite deliver. It reminds me of that story in the book about Matanga, the woman who's obsessed with Ananda because of his looks.
Ah, yes. A classic example of how cravings can blind us.
She wants to possess him, but she misses his compassion, his dedication to helping others.
His bodhicitta.
His bodhicitta. For our listeners who might not be familiar with that term,
Right.
bodhicitta is this beautiful concept in Buddhism.
It basically means awakened heart and mind, the
Yeah.
desire to benefit all beings.
And Matanga completely missed that because she was so focused on the superficial.
It's like she was chasing a bare bone and missed out on the real nourishment Ananda had to offer.
Such a good point. How often do we do that in our own lives? We get fixated on external things and miss the deeper essence. How do we break free from that cycle?
Well, that's what we'll explore in the next part. But for now, think about where you might be chasing bare bones in your pursuit of power. You know that chasing bare bones thing? That's such a good way to put it.
It really makes you think about what you're really going after, right?
Absolutely. And the book really highlights how everything's connected, like your inner state, your peace of mind.
Mhm.
It directly affects how you act in the world.
Okay, but H, how W? How does my inner peace, or lack of it, affect what I do?
Well, think about it. If you're always stressed or anxious, caught up in those cravings,
Yeah.
you're more likely to make decisions that aren't so great for you or other people. But when you put in the effort, to cultivate mindfulness, compassion.
Those inner powers we were talking about.
Exactly. It shifts your whole perspective. You start acting from a place of understanding, connection.
So instead of being driven by fear or greed, it's more about
Yeah, like a sense of
like a bigger picture.
yes. And that naturally leads to making choices that are good for everyone, not just yourself.
Okay, so like a ripple effect.
Exactly. Your inner peace or turmoil creates ripples outward. And the book's full of inspiring examples of people who are living this out.
Okay, I need some inspiration. Give me some examples.
We already mentioned Yvon Chouinard in Patagonia, but there's also this great story about Anathapindika,
Anathapindika, yeah. He was a businessman, right?
incredibly successful businessman.
Uh-huh.
But he wasn't driven by greed.
He's described as a bodhisattva, right?
That's right, just in case our listeners aren't familiar.
Yeah, good point.
A bodhisattva is someone who dedicates their life to helping others reach enlightenment. So they really embody that love is the bottom line idea.
Yeah, their actions create those ripples of good we were just talking about.
Exactly. And Anathapindika, he used his wealth to support the Buddhist teachings, take care of the poor and sick.
So he was putting his money where his mouth was.
He really was. It's a reminder that success, profit, those things aren't bad in themselves.
Right. Yeah.
It's the intention behind them, That's what matters.
That makes a lot of sense. It's not about demonizing success. It's about how you use it.
Exactly. And Thich Nhat Hanh actually gives some really practical advice on how to start shifting your mindset, your action in that direction.
Okay, lay it on me. What can we do?
First, we got to go back to those 5 powers.
The foundation.
Yes. They give you the inner strength, the clarity you need to not get swept away by.
Greed, fear, all that stuff.
Exactly. And from there, you can make more conscious choices in your work, relationships, all of it.
Okay, but what does that look like? Practical examples.
Start with simple things. Bring awareness to your breath, to your steps as you walk, even to your meals.
Just paying attention.
Yeah, slowing down instead of constantly rushing. And he also talks about mindful communication.
That deep listening we were talking about.
Yeah.
Really being present with the other person.
That's it. Listening without judgment, trying to really understand their perspective.
That's got to be especially important at work, where there's so much potential for,
misunderstandings.
yeah, conflict, all that.
Exactly. Mindful communication can transform those conflicts into opportunities to grow.
Instead of just ego battles.
Exactly. And remember that non-business day idea we mentioned?
Oh, yeah, the day off.
That's another piece of the puzzle. Intentionally stepping away from work and reconnecting with yourselves.
Oh, with each other.
Yes. It could be anything. A walk in nature, a mindful meal together.
Okay, but reality check. Not every workplace is going to be down with this, right?
Yeah.
What if you're in a super toxic environment where mindfulness is seen as like a weakness?
That's a real challenge, and he acknowledges that there's going to be resistance. But even in those situations, you can still work on your own inner strength. Choose to act with integrity and compassion.
So it's not about waiting for the perfect job, perfect boss.
No.
It's about taking responsibility for my own WN actions no matter what.
That's the key.
Yeah.
And he tells this powerful story to illustrate this point.
A story. I'm listening.
It's about an American soldier in Vietnam who was ordered to carry out assassinations.
Wow.
He was following orders, but he was so conflicted. There was no love in what he was doing.
That's got to be tough, being caught in a system that goes against your values.
It is. And that's why it's so important to develop that inner compass, the moral clarity that helps you make choices aligned with what you believe in.
Even when it's hard. So it's about having the courage to say no, to speak truth to power.
Yes. Real power doesn't come from conforming. It comes from staying true to yourself.
To that inner compass.
Yeah.
But how do you actually develop that strength, that clarity?
Well, that's what we'll explore next.
Yeah, that inner compass, knowing what to do, even when it's tough.
It's not easy.
No, not at all. It takes practice, I guess.
Yeah.
Like anything else. Before we were talking about how even in tough situations,
Yeah.
you can still choose to act with integrity.
You can. And one thing that can really help is community.
Okay.
Thich Nhat Hanh, he talks a lot about Sangha.
Sangha. What's that?
It's a Buddhist term. Basically means a community of like-minded people who support each other on the spiritual path,
Oh, okay. So finding people who are also into mindfulness, compassion, all that.
Exactly. They can help you stay motivated, keep you accountable.
Like a workout buddy for mindfulness.
Yeah, something like that. It's easy to get discouraged when you're on your own.
Yeah, for sure.
But a community can make a huge difference. It could be a formal group or even just a few friends.
People who share your values.
Exactly.
Right.
And along with community, he also talks about having a teacher, a mentor.
Like a mindfulness coach.
Yeah, like that. Someone who can guide you,
Help you go deeper with the teachings.
Yeah, help you navigate the challenges that come up.
Because there's so much information out there.
There is. It can be overwhelming.
It really can.
And he emphasizes that, a teacher doesn't have to be some mystical guru or something. It could be a friend, a colleague.
Anyone who embodies those qualities.
Yeah, anyone you can learn from. This whole conversation, it keeps coming back to that idea of interconnectedness, how our actions affect the world.
Like that part in the book where he asks nature, can I rely on you? And nature's like, can I rely on you?
That's such a powerful image, right?
It really is.
It makes you think about your responsibility to the planet.
Like, what am I doing to earn nature's trust?
Exactly. And he gives a lot of advice on how to live more in harmony with nature.
Okay, so what can we do?
Well, it starts with, simple things. Reducing your consumption, being mindful of your waste, supporting ethical companies.
Making those conscious choices.
Yeah, even small things make a difference. And he also encourages getting involved politically.
Oh, interesting.
Using your voice, your vote, to advocate for policies that protect the environment, promote social justice.
So it's not just about individual change. It's about, like, systemic change.
Exactly. And he reminds us, you don't have to be perfect.
Yeah.
You don't have to save the world single-handedly.
Just do what you can.
Yeah, just keep making an effort day after day. This has been such an insightful conversation.
It really has. I feel like I've learned so much from Thich Nhat Hanh's teachings.
Me too, me too. He offers such a powerful way to find peace, fulfillment, even when things feel,
Chaotic.
Yeah, exactly.
So as we wrap up this deep dive into the art of power, I want to leave you with this. True power, it's not about controlling others or getting rich. It's about that inner strength, living with intention, compassion,
Yes.
and using your influence to make a positive difference. Remembering that we're all connected and our choices create those ripples,
Yeah. Beautiful, beautiful. Those ripples of peace, kindness, healing.
Exactly. Thank you for joining us on this deep dive. Keep exploring, keep learning, and keep cultivating your own art of power.
Thank you for watching. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and comment. It would be a great source of help to maintain and develop this channel and the correlated website. This book overview was presented to you by olbooksummary.com. Are you interested in more insights into personal development books or motivational and inspirational books? Please visit olbooksummary.com and you will find a library of the most helpful self-development and human character development books overviews. See you soon with the next books overview video.